harmony. An orderly or pleasing combination of elements in a whole. It's good to have harmony, but when you fall out of your said harmony and find yourself in bad places, well, you should expect bad things to happen.
Hello everybody, it's me, Dregobob. Welcome to yet another video on the channel. Today, we're covering a very bizarre Minecraft resource and data pack. One that adds some incredibly bizarre and downright horrifying things to the game. Now, this video will be on the shorter side, considering the actual lore and hidden story, if there is one, has yet to be added. But there's still some things we can learn in preparation for the main video coming someday. Not to mention all of the strange things we'll be seeing in the mod itself. But I'd like to tell you, this is not your run-of-the-mill dweller mod. It's anything but that. To begin, let's take a look at the mods page. It's straightforward and has 6 screenshots. I haven't seen many of the things inside, but at the same time, I've seen many things not shown in these few screenshots. Now, the mod pack itself gives us only this to chew on before we download it.
They infested your world and live in the earth. Listen for the heartbeats, check your radio, and don't stare.
Quite foreboding. Another interesting thing is this mod is described as being Doom-like. Looking at it, I can somewhat see why they would label it as such, but that's about all we can gather here at the very surface. So let's enter the world of Cryptid. Well, the main menu at least. As upon enabling the resource pack and data pack, the UI gets a red makeover, with a nice looking logo and splash text that reads, "I see you." How comforting it is to be seen. Beyond that, there isn't too much else to gawk at here. There's the UI of the world creator, but that's more of the same. The uncomfortable same, as the background looks something akin to flesh or even clumped up veins. Starting a new world, we're loaded into your average Minecraft world with the addition of several visual changes and new items in your inventory. The visual changes add a very nice looking VHS effect, one that adds a flashlight at night and in particularly dark places, albeit an ineffective one. As for the new items in your inventory, you receive a torn scrap of paper displaying a crafting recipe for what looks to be a totem of sorts. The most important of these new items is the dilapidated radio. Old, rusted, and still functioning. It serves to track your world harmony, flux level, what cryptids are nearby, and second most importantly, your distance to a heart, and your number of heart capsules, which are basically the number of lives that you have. Finally, we have a lone book, a book that serves as your introduction to the mod.
Welcome to Cryptid. Let's get the basics down first. Your goal is to survive and coexist with the world. Keep them happy, and you will survive. Please read the following instructions. Stay away from the heartbeats. Stay inside at night. Don't go too far into the sky or beneath the bedrock. Always stay on the move. As you progress and encounter more of them, I will give more hints in your inventory. Be wary about any foreign objects you find. They have a mind of their own. Remember, you can't survive forever, but I'll help you extend your stay.
The book lets us in on a few things. We have a mysterious benefactor of sorts. One that, for some reason or another, wants to see us survive, if only for a little while in this world. This same being or person again also seems to have fairly intimate knowledge on this world, or at the very least a baseline understanding. One more than us at this point in the game. Beyond that, the only other item we have at our disposal is the challenge medallion, which, upon using it, just amps everything up to about 10 and challenges us to see how long exactly we can survive. Moving on, the world itself also sees several odd changes. Scattered around at different distance intervals are strange structures, ranging from bizarre setups of glass with even more random things on the inside. Cobblestone patches speckled with obsidian to abandoned, corrupt-looking houses to whatever these structures are. Another notable thing is how much of the world is now steeped in more red than normal, to say the very least. From the skies in the early morning, to just as the sun sets, to something even as major as the water itself, which now resembles blood more than anything now. Red is a color that is nigh omnipresent in the mod. The color itself also, in my opinion, makes things feel ever more uneasy. The color red itself also happens to be closely related to that of danger. Fittingly so, it makes danger and things that may be even more out of the ordinary stick out like a sore thumb. During my time playing the mod, I often found myself looking over my shoulder. Understanding that the world itself wanted me to do certain things like staying on the move made it so I couldn't ever get too comfortable. The fog itself was also just always close enough I was left wondering what may come next. And the threat of my harmony falling and not understanding what might happen when that did happen kept the world itself feeling more alive, as if it was purposefully keeping me on the run when it really wasn't. On top of this, the radio's secondary function in the form of a cryptid tracker that lacked any indication of how close said cryptids were also didn't help my nerves. One thing to note is this mod has a very clear progression in how bad things will end up getting for you. That again comes from your harmony level. Depending on where you are, what you do, and maybe even more that I haven't noted yet, your harmony will rise or fall. This is alarming too, because your harmony also judges how often events will take place. Flux, on the other hand, determines how fast your harmony rises or drops. With all of that in mind, let's get to the interesting part. Gameplay in the mod is, as you might have gathered, a disturbing experience. After reading and gaining a better understanding of the do's and don'ts from the intro book, I became much more hesitant when going basically anywhere. The idea I had to keep moving was also one I took to heart up until things got really bad. But that comes later in the video. Exploring in this mod always felt unsure. Because of the radio telling me what was nearby, I wasn't sure how long exactly I could stay in one place before whatever was nearby came looking for me. So I always stayed place to place less than a day, and gotta move on. I'm sure it's only because of that things stayed quiet as long as they did. But the safest I ever felt in the mod was when I was in a village. It's rather funny, but despite all the changes the mod made to make everything feel infinitely more terrifying, seeing these weird little guys living their weird little lives despite it all was comforting in a way. Then, when I left this first village, came the cave. At this point in the recording, which was only about 15 minutes in, by the way, was when everything began to go bad. For the first time, my flux level dropped, and I found myself exceedingly close to a heart. For the night, I'd retreated and sealed myself into a small makeshift hut. And the next day, when I knew I had more time, I returned, where I saw the large cube the heart was contained in, alongside the most common cryptid, the phantom undertow, a mass of writhing red arms that pull you underground when you get too close. After some more time spent down there dealing with monsters, I turned back towards the depths of the cave, only to be met with a massive red tree of sorts. When I got too close, it bursted and transformed everything around it into red blocks. And it was soon after that I turned my back again, only to look and see the cube. Now, in the light, it appears more like a mass of veins or meat. This particular texture can also be seen a lot in the pack. But breaking into said cube, I discovered, of course, a heart. One I broke, and in return, gained an item called a calcified heart. When eaten, it gives you an extra life. However, by the time I'd left the cave, it was already far too late. My harmony had entered a total freefall, meaning I didn't have any options but to try and prepare for whatever might come next. While you watch this footage of me roaming, I'd like to say I didn't ever think something with the style that strayed so far from the actual Minecraft game as a whole would be all too enjoyable or immersive. But the mod's explanation of itself and the original idea that these things came into your device and infected your game at a code level makes them look nicer. And if you ask me, I certainly think this is better than them looking blocky like every dweller ever. And their entire look that clashes with the entire Minecraft style both makes things stick out like a sore thumb, so there's seldom a chance for you to miss them. And that they all feel more alien in the end. With that, I eventually find my way to another village. My harmony in the negative, while my own nerve was at an all-time low too. I spent a fair bit of time simply preparing for the inevitable, stockpiling all the most important things I had in one house while I waited for nightfall in the open. Though another bizarre thing happened. The sky around a section of the village began showing these weird, fleshy particles floating about the place. As if that wasn't odd enough, those hands from the cave began appearing on the surface too. A while later, night fell. Already understanding what was to happen considering these messages I got relating to my harmony level, redstone torches appeared on a hill next to me. And at one point, a strange red mass appeared behind me before outright disappearing, leaving nothing in its wake but a series of disturbing noises. Everything that night came to a head when I was then approached by a bunch of silverfish and a lone sheep. If the advancement I made moments before was an indication enough, the sheep bursting into a massive red jellyfish that corrupted the very world around it was. While I scrambled about in some vain attempt to survive, I also got another paper scrapped. One I wouldn't keep for very long, but one that would have allowed me to craft a shotgun of all things. A real means of defense. After ultimately dying, that was it. I slept till the next day and left my house to find a massive pillar made from that odd block, erected just outside of the village on a hill. It stretched way up high, but that's where I'll leave this for now. The mod itself at this point has already received an update, one that may contain lore. As you should already know, I'm already hard at work looking through the mod in every way I can to try and find it. Not only that, but in terms of footage, I already have much more I haven't shown you. It would be a waste doing so without also having that tasty serving of lore right beside it. So, in the next video I make covering this absolutely amazing resource and data pack, I'll hopefully have all of that on the table, and perhaps even more. For now, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I know this one was a bit lackluster compared to my other works, but if you'd also like to be informed on when I do release greater videos than this, join my Discord server. Upcoming videos covering the second wave of content regarding Lucy's bedroom, a far-off video covering all of Angel Hair, and much more is coming very soon. I'm Dregobob, hoping you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Bye-bye!